بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أما بعد. In this lesson we're going to begin الدرس الثاني عشر, the 12th lesson. Before reading the passage, we're going to explain quickly the main rules the author wants to teach us in this lesson. The main rule that the author wants to teach us is المفعول فيه. المفعول فيه is another name for ظرف زمان and ظرف مكان. ظرف زمان, ظرف مكان are two terms that we're familiar with. Adverb of time, adverb of place. Both of those are combined under this name. المفعول فيه. مفعول, an action is done. فيه, in it. يعني in a particular location, that's a ظرف مكان. If an action occurs in a particular location, that's adverb of place. If an action is done in a particular time, then that's ظرف زمان, adverb of time. That's what we're going to be learning, inshallah. We've learnt a similar lesson previously. That was اسم زمان, اسم المكان. And that was a lesson which is related to sarf. The subject of sarf is where you take a verb and from that same word you can construct different types of words. طيب, so that was a sarfi lesson, you could say. How to construct اسم زمان, اسم مكان, location where that particular action takes place or the time in which that particular action takes place. Here we're speaking about ظرف زمان and ظرف مكان, which is a grammatical lesson now. This is a grammatical lesson. How do we analyze it and so on. طيب. So that's basically the main difference. So the ones where we spoke about previously, those ones are words that we can construct. They are mushtaqat, they are derived. We derive them by applying the rules that we learnt. Whereas these ones, they're not necessarily derived. Some of these words like yawm, day, layl, night, amama, khalfa, they're not words that you derive or make by placing them on a particular pattern. So that's one of the main differences between those two lessons. Okay, so al-maf'ulu fihi encompasses ظرف زمان and ظرف مكان. This is the main lesson as we explained. So let's read the definition here. The author, he says, وصلت يوم الثلاثاء. وصلت يوم الثلاثاء. I arrived in this particular day. يوم الثلاثاء. يوم الثلاثاء is Tuesday. So I arrived on Tuesday. So my arrival occurred within this day. This is why it is ending with a fatha. So maf'ul fihi, the grammatical i'rab or the grammatical ending, what denotes that a word is maf'ul fihi, firstly, aside from it in indicating time or location, is the ending here. It ends with a fatha. It's mansub, basically. It's mansub. So darf zaman and darf makan, their state is an-nasb. They are mansub. Similar to the maf'ulun bihi. Maf'ulun bihi is mansub. Likewise, maf'ul fihi is mansub. So that's why we have wasaltu yawm al-thulatha. My arrival did not occur on, it occurred within. The action occurred within this day. So there's a difference between maf'ul bihi and maf'ul fihi, the object and the adverb. The object is where the action is landing on that particular thing. So if I was to say, for example, أحب يوم الثلاثاء. أحب يوم الثلاثاء means I love Tuesday. Is my loving occurring in this day or is it occurring on this day? It's occurring on this day. So if I say أحب يوم الثلاثاء, I love Tuesday, يوم would be my مفعول به, mansub, because it's مفعول به. That's what's, my love is occurring on this thing. It's landing on this thing. The action is landing on this thing. Whereas if I was to say أحببته يوم الثلاثاء أو أحب أن أقرأ يوم الثلاثاء, I love to read or I loved something. يوم الثلاثاء, my love is occurring on something else, but it's occurring within this day to that thing. So the object is something else, but it's occurring within the day, not on the day. So there's a difference between أحببت يوم الثلاثاء وأحب أن أقرأ يوم الثلاثاء. I love to read on this day, but this day. Okay, so just notice the difference between maf'ul fihi, maf'ul bihi. Maf'ul bihi, the action lands on the thing. Maf'ul fihi, the action takes place within that particular time or that particular location. Okay, so wasaltu yawm al-thulatha, I arrived on Tuesday. Arrived, when you translate, we say on Tuesday, but just understand the action is not occurring on it, it's occurring within it. طيب, so وصلت يوم الثلاثاء. What we're saying here, يوم is مفعول فيه, and to be more precise, it is ظرف زمان, مضاف مضاف إليه. هنا يوم مفعول فيه. Here in this sentence, يوم, just يوم, is مفعول فيه, is مفعول فيه. المفعول فيه اسم منصوب يذكر لبيان زمان الفعل أو مكانه. المفعول فيه is a noun. Okay, that's the first thing that we need to bear in mind. مفعول فيه is a noun. ظرف مكان, ظرف زمان are both isms. They're going to be isms. منصوب, and this ism, what's its state? It's منصوب. So both ظرف زمان, ظرف مكان are منصوب. يذكر لبيان زمان الفعل أو مكانه. It is mentioned to clarify the time where the action occurs or the place where the action occurs. لبيان زمان الفعل أو مكانه. ويسمى أيضا ظرفا, and it's also called ظرفا. If it's مكان, we say ظرف مكان. If it's زمان, ظرف زمان. And if you want to differentiate between the two, or the criterion to see or to understand and determine whether a word is ظرف زمان or ظرف مكان, firstly, with ظرف مكان, it comes as an answer for أين. If that word gives a meaningful answer to the question asked using أين, then it's ظرف مكان. And ظرف زمان comes as an answer to a question posed using متى. We're going to practice here, look. خرجت ليلا, I left at night. Why is ليلا منصوب? ليلا is منصوب because it is ظرف زمان. It's a noun which indicates time. Indicates time and indicates that this action occurred within this time. And it's منصوب. Here we have فتحتين. Sometimes we have one فتحة because مضاف مضاف إليه. A lot of the times مضاف مضاف إليه. If it's not مضاف مضاف إليه, then we're going to have ليلا with فتحتين. So خرجت ليلا, I exited at night. I exited at night. Okay, let's practice what we just said, the criterion to determine if it's ظرف زمان or ظرف مكان. Here we're saying it's ظرف زمان. So we ask using متى. متى خرجت? When did you leave? ليلا, at night. Does it make sense? Yes. So this is ظرف زمان. سأسافر غدا إن شاء الله. I am going to travel tomorrow إن شاء الله. غدا here is ظرف زمان. So let's ask the question using متى تسافر? When are you going to travel? غدا, tomorrow. It makes sense. So this is ظرف زمان. نمت بعد نومك. I slept after your sleeping. Here, this is coming as ظرف زمان. So let's ask using متى نمت? When did you sleep? بعد نومك, after your sleeping. بعد is a word similar to قبل. بعد and قبل, after and before. These two words are always مضاف. They're always مضاف, so we have the word that comes after is مضاف إليه. They're both ظرف. What are they? ظرف زمان or ظرف مكان? They can be both. That's what's special about بعد and قبل. قبل and بعد can be ظرف زمان and ظرف مكان, depending on what you make it مضاف to. The word that comes after it is going to determine whether it's ظرف زمان or ظرف مكان. If you make it مضاف to a location, then it's going to be ظرف مكان. If you make it مضاف to a time, then it's going to be ظرف زمان. Okay, so these are all ظرف زمان, and we know that because it makes sense to use them in answer to the question you posed with متى. طيب, here these are ظرف مكان, so we can answer using them when we are asked the question using أين. So مشيت ميلا. مشيت, I walked. ميلا is a mile, 1 mile. I walked a mile. طيب, ميلا is ظرف مكان. The action of walking took place within this particular distance. Okay, so we say أين مشيت? Where did you walk? مشيت ميلا. With this one, مشيت ميلا, أين مشيت ميلا, it doesn't really make sense when we ask using أين. Perhaps the question for this is كم مشيت ميلا. That criterion that we mentioned, أين and متى, is a general criterion. So sometimes you might see it doesn't really apply, it doesn't make sense. طيب, جلست عند المدير. جلست عند المدير, I sat with the headmaster. Likewise, عند, this is similar to بعد and قبل in that it can be ظرف زمان and ظرف مكان depending where it's مضاف to. Okay, so here it's مضاف to a person, a location, so it's going to be ظرف مكان. So if you will say عند المغرب, خرجت عند المغرب, I exited at maghrib, or استيقظت عند الفجر, I woke up at fajr, it's ظرف زمان. But here's ظرف مكان. Okay, so أين جلست, where did you sit? I sat by the headmaster. نمت تحت شجرة, I slept under a tree. تحت is a ظرف مكان. تحت is ظرف مكان. So here we can ask أين نمت, where did you sleep? تحت شجرة, under a tree. So these are ظرف مكان. So this is what we're learning. مفعول فيه. مفعول فيه is a term which covers ظرف زمان, ظرف مكان. It is the place or the time in which an action takes place. Within it. It's not مفعول به, on it, it's within it. Okay, طيب. So what's the state in terms of i'rab? In terms of i'rab, it is going to be mansub. Both of them are mansub. So this is from the mansubat, from the nouns which are mansub. If, however, we have some of the ظرف zamans and ظرف makans, they are coming as mabni, then we're going to say it's mabni on whatever it's mabni on, and then we say fi mahalli nasb. It's in the place of something which is mansub, because maf'ul fihi is mansub. So we do the i'rab and we say it's fixed on whatever is fixed on by looking at the last letter, and then we say fi mahalli nasb. So here بعض الظروف مبنية. So they mention here that some of the ظروف is the plural of ظرف. Adverbs, some of the adverbs are fixed. Yani their endings don't change. Minha, from them are these ones that they're going to mention. So with these ones, we're going to say it's mabni on whatever is mabni on, and then we're going to say fi mahalli nasb, fi mahalli nasb, because they're coming as either ظرف زمان or ظرف مكان, يعني مفعول فيه. So متى, which is the اسم الاستفهام, is also a ظرف زمان itself. So متى, when. تقول, for example, you say متى خرجت, when did you leave? So in this sentence, what's the i'rab of متى? متى, we say ظرف زمان مبني. It's mabni. Where is it mabni on? It's mabni on sukun, because the last letter has a sukun. Alif is always sakin. مبني على السكون. Okay, then we say في محل نصب. It's standing in the position of a mansub, something mansub, which is the maf'ul fihi. Next one, أين. أين, we said we used to ask concerning location. Where? تقول أين تدرس, where do you study? So أين in this sentence is mabni, also from the ones that are mabni. All of these are mabni. Where is it mabni on? It's mabni on fath. ظرف مكان. This one's a ظرف مكان. This اسم الاستفهام is ظرف مكان. This one's a ظرف زمان. ظرف مكان مبني على الفتح في محل نصب. Okay. أمسي, which means yesterday, is also مبني. لم أغب أمسي. I was not absent yesterday. أمسي is مبني on كسر. Okay. This is a ظرف زمان مبني على الكسر في محل نصب. قط, ever. This is used for فعل ماضي, similar to أبدا. أبدا is used for the فعل مضارع. تقول لم أذق هذه الفاكهة قط. I've never tasted this fruit before. I've never tasted this fruit. Okay. So قط, this ظرف زمان, is مبني على الضم. طو مبني على الضم في محل نصب. هنا is a ظرف مكان مبني على السكون. اجلس هنا, sit here. هنا is ظرف مكان مبني على السكون في محل نصب. We have هناك also. هناك is مبني على الفتح. The kaf has a فتحة, but they haven't mentioned it here. Okay, then we have الآن. الآن likewise is a ظرف which is مبني. This is ظرف زمان. الآن جئت. الآن, we're prolonging because the word starts with hamzatul wasl. When we bring hamzatul istifham and ask a question, it becomes a mad. So we say الآن جئت. Did you come now? الآن means now. So الآن ظرف زمان مبني على الفتح في محل نصب. This is a ظرف زمان which is مبني على الفتح في محل نصب. حيث, which means where. نقول اجلس حيث شئت, sit where you want or where you wish. حيث is a ظرف مكان مبني على الضم في محل نصب. Okay. So we've learned so far that the ظرف زمان, ظرف مكان are mansub. However, there are some nouns which are mabni. These ones which are mabni from the ظروف, we analyze them by saying what they're mabni on, and then we say في محل نصب, standing in the place of something which is mansub. Okay, the next thing we need to learn also is هناك أسماء تنوب عن الظرف. There are some nouns which stand in the place of the ظرف. They don't indicate time or location, but they stand in the place of the ظرف. From them are these nouns here. So these nouns, we're going to do i'rab of them as naib. They function as ظرف, not originally ظرف, but they are deputizing for the ظرف مكان or ظرف زمان. Okay, the first one is مضاف إلى الظرف مما يدل على كلية الزمان أو المكان أو جزئيتهما. Words which indicate a part of a day, a part of a location, or all of the location. So these words are mudaf. They are always mudaf. Okay, so the ظرف مكان and the ظرف زمان is going to come after it. It's going to be mudaf ilayhi. We have ظرف زمان, ظرف مكان coming as mudaf ilayhi, and then these words come as mudaf. And these words indicate part of that ظرف, part of it or all of it. كلية zaman, all of that time period, or that all of that location, or part of it, جزئيتهما, part of that time or location. كل, the word كل, بعض, and fractions, basically, that's what we're referring to. These words, if they come as mudaf and then we have the ظرف زمان or ظرف مكان after it as mudaf ilayhi, this word is going to be taking the place and functioning as the ظرف زمان or ظرف مكان. So look here. سافرنا كل النهار. Why is it فتحة? Because this is what's deputizing and functioning as the ظرف زمان in this case. وهو مضاف, and then the actual ظرف زمان is مضاف إليه, so it ends with a كسرة. سافرنا كل النهار. We traveled the whole day. انتظرتك ربع ساعة. I waited for you a quarter of an hour. ربع is مفعول فيه. You could say مفعول فيه, or you could say نائب المفعول. It doesn't make too much of a difference, as long as you know that this is what's going to be functioning as the مفعول فيه, whether ظرف زمان or ظرف مكان. انتظرتك ربع ساعة. This is going to function as the مفعول فيه, وهو مضاف مضاف إليه, وهو مضاف مضاف إليه. مشيت نصف كيلومتر. I walked for half a kilometer. نصف is coming as the مفعول فيه, وهو مضاف مضاف إليه. هنا الكلمات كل, ربع, نصف نابت عن الظروف. Here the words كل, all, ربع, quarter, نصف, half, نابت, they have taken the place of the ظروف. So this is number one. What we're listing nouns which take the place or function as the ظروف, although they don't really indicate time or location per se, but in these instances they do. Number two, صفته. صفة is the na'at, basically. If we have a na'at for the ظرف زمان, ظرف مكان, the na'at can stand and function as the ظرف زمان, ظرف مكان, the مفعول فيه. So the مفعول فيه is going to be omitted, and the na'at is going to stand in its place. And it's understood that this is a na'at for a ظرف زمان, ظرف مكان. Okay, let's look at the examples. جلست طويلا. I sat long. What's long? It's referring to time, right? A long time. A وقتا طويلا. So طويلا was actually a na'at for وقتا. وقتا is mansub. Why is it mansub? Because it's ظرف زمان. ظرف زمان is mansub, and the na'at for it is going to be mansub also, right? But we've omitted the waqt because it's understood. And we say جلست طويلا. I sat for a long time. If we translate it to English, we'd say I sat for long. طيب هنا طويلا صفة. So طويلا is a صفة or a na'at للظرف نابت عنه. It's a na'at, it's an adjective for the ظرف, and it's standing in its place. So the second one is adjectives for ظروف. They stand in its place. طيب. Number three, اسم الإشارة. So if اسم الإشارة comes before the ظرف مكان or the ظرف زمان, it's going to assume the role of the ظرف زمان, ظرف مكان. And then the ظرف زمان and ظرف مكان that comes after it is going to function as badal. Remember, nouns after أسماء الإشارة, if they have alif lam, they're going to function as badal. So اسم الإشارة is going to function as the ظرف زمان or ظرف مكان, the مفعول فيه, if it's going to be followed by the ظرف زمان ظرف مكان. So for example here, جئت هذا الأسبوع, I came this week. جئت هذا, what's هذا? هذا is the ظرف زمان. We don't see the فتحة because this is مبني, right? أسماء الإشارة مبني, so في محل نصب. اسم الإشارة في محل نصب ظرف زمان. الأسبوع بدل follows the مبدل منه in إعراب. So here هذا ناب عن الظرف. So هذا is standing in the place of the ظرف. The fourth one is العدد. عدد is numbers. When we're saying 3 days, 4 days, 5 this, that, the numbers, if they come before the ظرف زمان or ظرف مكان, they're going to function as the ظرف زمان ظرف مكان, and then we have مضاف مضاف إليه. So let's look. مكثت في بغداد 4 أيام. This is مجرور with the فتحة because ممنوع من الصرف. So I remained in Baghdad 4 days. 4, this is coming as نائب الظرف, or you could say it's coming as the ظرف زمان, وهو مضاف إليه. That's why it's taking a فتحة. This is coming as ظرف. سرنا 100 كيلومتر. We proceeded, we went forth for 100 kilometers. So 100 is coming as the ظرف, وهو مضاف, كيلومتر مضاف إليه. In this case, this is coming as the ظرف مكان. This is ظرف زمان. 4 أيام. هنا 4 و100 عددان نابا عن الظرف. So 4 and 100 are numbers. عددان, both of them are numbers. نابا, they have come deputizing and taking the place of the ظرف. So this is the second matter that we needed to know. Those nouns which function as ظرف مكان and ظرف زمان. طيب. Then the next thing that we wanted to mention also is لو. ورد في الدرس لو عرفت أنك تأتي إلى بلدي لاستقبلتك في المطار. Okay, we want to speak about low. This sentence is going to come in the passage. But low, they mention حرف امتناع لامتناع وتفيد 3 أمور. Low is a حرف. Okay, low is a حرف. So we say مبني على السكون لا محل من الإعراب. However, this acts as a conditional phrase. You can kind of construct a conditional sentence using low. And this is امتناع لامتناع. That's what we refer to it or define it as حرف امتناع لامتناع. It's a حرف which امتناع is something not occurring because of something else not occurring. So the second matter did not occur because the first matter did not occur. حرف امتناع لامتناع. We give examples. It will make sense. So okay, this is an example here. لو اجتهدت لنجحت. So the second matter, امتنع النجاح, this did not occur. Why? Because this did not occur. Yani this is a condition for this. So if this condition is not met, this is not going to be met. This is a conditional sentence. لو اجتهدت لنجحت. Had you strove, had you worked hard, you would have succeeded. But because you didn't work hard, you have not succeeded. So this was not possible because this was not possible. This is relying on this. Okay, so حرف امتناع لامتناع. So امتنع النجاح لامتناع الاجتهاد. Najah, success was not possible because the hard work was not there. طيب, لم تجتهد فلم تنجح. You didn't work hard, so you did not succeed. Okay. So they're mentioning حرف امتناع لامتناع. That's what that means. وتفيد 3 أمور. And we benefit from low 3 matters. We learn from it or we benefit from it 3 matters. Firstly, الشرطية. الشرطية is basically conditional sentence. You create a conditional sentence using low. So this is a conditional sentence. Okay, and the conditional sentence is made up of 2 parts. We have the فعل شرط, we call this part, the first part, فعل الشرط or الشرط. We call this the شرط. This is the condition. And we call this جواب الشرط. This is the condition, this is the result. Okay, if this condition is not met, the result is not going to be met. So this is called شرط. جواب الشرط. Memorize these words. شرط جواب الشرط. طيب امتنع جواب لامتناع الشرط. Okay. So that's the first thing. شرطية. It gives us this conditional sentence. تقييد الشرطية بالزمن الماضي. Likewise, it limits this conditional sentence is limited to the ماضي. So that's why we have فعل ماضي. Here it's فعل ماضي. Here فعل ماضي. We use it for the ماضي. لو is used for the ماضي. 3. الامتناع. And it indicates امتناع, lack of the condition being fulfilled. So the condition was not fulfilled, hence the goal or the objective was not fulfilled. So unfulfilled condition. So low gives us 3 meanings or 3 benefits. First is a conditional sentence that's used for the madi and it comes for unfulfilled conditions. طيب, so نحو لو اجتهدت لنجحت. Had you worked hard, you would have succeeded. معناه, it means لم تجتهد, you didn't work hard, so you didn't succeed. يقترن جوابها المثبت باللام. Okay, so we have lam here. This we said is the shart, this is the jawab. If the jawab is muthbat basically means there's no harf nafi, there's no negation, particles of negation. If there's no particles of negation, then the jawab usually has this lam. A lam, this is come to emphasize. Jawabu al-muthbat bil lam. The jawab is starts with a lam. ولا يقترن بها جوابها المنفي. But if it was manfi, if it had a negative particle or some sort of negation, then we don't use the lam. Lam comes to emphasize that which is affirmative. But if it's negative, we don't use the lam. And then they've written here in brackets, يجوز عكسه وهذا قليل. It's not always the case. يعني sometimes وهو قليل, rarely, يعني this rule does not apply. This is a general rule here. They're saying that the lam is there when it's muthbat and the lam is not there when it's manfi. But sometimes it's the opposite. يعني the lam is not there, it's muthbat, and it's there when it's manfi. But very rarely. So this is the general rule for this part. Okay, then they're given some examples here. لو سمعت قصة أو لو سمعت قصته لبكيت. Had you heard his story, you would have cried. This is shart. This is جواب الشرط. جواب الشرط is مثبت, is affirmed, so it starts with a lam. There's no negation. Right? If you heard his story, you would have cried. قال المدرس لحامد. The teacher said to Hamid, لو حضرت أمس ما شكوتك إلى المدير. Had you attended yesterday, I would not have complained concerning you to the headmaster. This is the shart, this is jawab al-shart. In this case, jawab al-shart has a ma, which is nafi. I would not have, hence there's no la. The la is not mentioned. The lam is not there. Okay, so because this is manfi, there's a negation there. If you attended yesterday, I would not have complained to the headmaster. هذا طعام فاسد. This food is spoilt. It's gone bad. It's foul. لو أكله الناس لمرضوا. If people eat it, they will become sick. This is shart. This is جواب الشرط. جواب الشرط has a lam because it's مثبت. لو رأيت ذاك أو رأيت ذاك المنظر لبكيت. Had you seen that sight, you would have cried. So this is شرط, جواب الشرط. مثبت, it has a lam. لو عرفت أن الاختبار لو عرفت أن الاختبار اليوم ما تأخرت. Had I known the test was today, I would not have come late. So this is شرط and this is جواب الشرط. جواب الشرط has ما, which is نافية, hence there's no lam. طيب. Then the final thing that we want to mention is من قبل يبنى قبل وبعد على الضم إذا قطع عن إضافة. Remember we said قبل and بعد, these two, they are ظروف. They could be ظرف زمان, ظرف مكان, depending where it's مضاف to. And they're always going to be مضاف. Okay. What they're saying is من قبل. Why is it not taking a fatha in this case? من بعد is not taking a fatha in this case. We mentioned this in book 2 already, but he's mentioned it again here. قبل and بعد, these two مفعول فيه, they are معرب only if the مضاف إليه is mentioned. But if the مضاف إليه is not mentioned, they're going to be مبني on ضمة. So من قبل is مبني on ضمة. من بعد is مبني on ضمة. Why? Because the mudaf ilayhi is not mentioned. So they've said يبنى قبل وبعد على الضم. قبل and بعد are مبني on ضم إذا قطع عن الإضافة, if they are cut off from إضافة. لفظا لا معنى, the mudaf ilayhi is not mentioned, it's not pronounced, it's not uttered. That's what lafdhan means. There's no mudaf ilayhi mentioned, but the meaning is that it is mudaf to something. It's mudaf to something, but that mudaf ilayhi has not mentioned. It's understood. Okay, it's still mudaf in meaning, but the mudaf ilayhi is not mentioned in utterance. قال تعالى لله الأمر من قبل ومن بعد. The matter is in Allah's hands. من قبل, from before, and ومن بعد, and afterwards. Allah controls everything. من قبل ومن بعد. Why is it مبني on ضم? Because the مضاف إليه is not mentioned لفظا, but it's من قبل ذلك, بعد ذلك. Before that and after that, the control and the affair is in Allah's hands. طيب, it seems like we don't have enough time to read the passage. So alhamdulillah, we explained the rules. So next lesson, we will look out for these rules when we read the passage, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.